Welcome back to part 2. So I'm going to try not to repeat some of the things that I said, but I can't remember exactly what I stated in the first section because when the camera stopped, I wasn't completely aware. So the next thing that I did was get my blood work done, have a better understanding of where I actually was on my levels. So having my HDL, LDL, glucose, uric acid, iron, A1C, all those components measured amongst other things so that I could actually know where my numbers were in comparison to what the standard said they should be. And what I discovered was my HDL and LDL were increased, but that's not great for the LDL specifically, which also has to be taken into account with consideration, the LDL levels. So after learning how to control my blood pressure without having medications, I focused on learning how to control my cholesterol without medications. And most of that was by way of dietary change and increasing the foods that were great for me, like having whole oats, consuming olive oils, avocado oils. I can't think of all the components right now, flaxseed, but I slowly began to introduce things into my diet to help me control my LDL, or high blood or high low density level cholesterol. In addition to having those things measured, and this is specifically for the men, we need to make sure that we're at least requesting the PSA levels to be measured, which have a direct impact on our prostate health. Most of us, myself included, aren't interested in having an invasive test done, basically have a doctor measure or check your prostate health with their finger. So a way to approach knowing what's going on with your prostate health without going straight to that component is by getting your PSA levels tested. And if they're high, then you probably should go to a urologist and see exactly what's going on. I did that. My prostate health function is doing well. I wasn't aware at the time that you could actually have a measurement tested through your blood, so I was thankful to know that. And basically what happens with our prostate is a lot, especially for those of us who sit a lot, we have a lot of fluid on the prostate that doesn't go anywhere, and it kind of, in a way, saturates the prostate and rots it, especially if we're not eating the right correct foods. This is just layman terms. You can check with the doctor or do your own independent research. So to combat that, I have a lacrosse ball, you can get a tennis ball, and you can massage the prostate externally. This is not going inside you, of course. And by doing that, you want to sit on the lacrosse ball, and between the rectum and the scrotum, just roll back and forth for about 3 minutes every day. Now you can control the pressure, of course. You don't just plop down on it. And if you're seated, you can put your hands on the chair so that you're not sitting with all your weight. And slowly but surely, you may begin to notice things like you're not getting up to go to the bathroom late at night. You can sleep through the whole night as a result of that. And in other ways, you might just feel the results of doing this massage with a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, which is what I use. I'm going to talk a little bit about these foods that I have in front of me because I can't really remember exactly if I touched on it in the first video. But here we have turmeric, which I consume on a daily basis. Cinnamon, I also consume on almost a daily basis. I consume my turmeric in my guacamole or my popcorn when I pop it. Almost most salads. Cinnamon, I just eat that with like bananas. It adds a little kick. But cinnamon is also great for you. Black pepper in conjunction with turmeric is also good. Whole cloves are great for the blood. Excuse the music. I eat them by themselves, only maybe 1 or 2 a day, first thing in the morning, or I put them in my tea. If you can replace your coffee with green tea, that would probably be much better for you overall. Green tea has a what am I thinking about? Antioxidizing impact. I eat avocado almost every day. I'm going to break my fast today with avocado. And if you don't like avocado, I encourage you to experiment with it, because I was not an avocado lover until I started adding onion, tomato, green pepper, cucumber. If you like to have grilled or what do you call it when you saute your vegetables and they almost caramelize, if you like them like that, you can add that to your guacamole or your avocado. I also make my own trail mix. This is consistent of pecans, pumpkin seeds. These are sunflower seeds, and sometimes I add those in as well. Raisins and any other nuts or healthy fruits that you want to add to that. I replaced chips, Doritos, things like that with natural popcorn. You want to go with organic if you can. I don't think this is organic. I don't see organic on the label, but I do eat popcorn, and I do season it with sea salt, black pepper, and turmeric. I do pop my popcorn in avocado oil. I do not use vegetable oil. And another replacement for tortilla chips, if you want to use something for dipping, is a baked chip that's not fried and uses all natural ingredients as best as you can find. I also want to introduce another food to you. This is yumaka. Yumaka is a great replacement for white potatoes, and it's a root. It's low on the glycemic index. It does not have any starch, or if it does have starch, it's very little and compared to white potatoes. The starch, if we consume too much of it, contributes to inflammation inside the body. And I think I want to stop there on foods. Olive oil, of course, is another component to add. And drinking spring water only. I only drink spring water, and I try not to have any sodas. The only exception is if I need to have a ginger ale, or if I want to have a ginger ale, which is infrequently, I'll have a ginger ale and fresh juices and coconut water. So those are a couple of the foods that work for me, and I'm going to recommend a few others. Watermelon, great for nitric oxide, which keeps those veins open, allowing that blood to flow through. Pineapple, cucumber, great for hydration. Jalapeno with the seeds. Jalapeno seeds have been known to fight cancer. Ginger, various nuts including pecans, peanuts, walnuts, seeds including pumpkin seeds, flaxseed, sunflower seeds, spinach, natural yogurt, green leafy vegetables, and other vegetables such as carrots, beets. Beets are great for managing blood pressure. Fresh fish, including salmon, tuna, bass. Having organic, well, let's go back to the fish. Trying to stay away from farm-raised fish is going to be a good thing as well. Same thing that happens with farm-raised fish is kind of happening to our larger more land-based meat industry and the beef industry, where they're trying to supplement nutrition, and the fish, the product itself, isn't getting the nutrition which we would receive in turn. So try to get wild caught fish if possible. Okay, consuming natural spring water. You actually have to read the ingredients in your water these days. I try to consume natural spring water. Whole cloves, cinnamon, cayenne pepper is also great for the blood, managing the blood pressure. You can't overdose on cayenne pepper. I add cayenne pepper to my pineapple, to my watermelon. It's an acquired taste. Most of it really isn't a taste. It's more of a acquired desire for healthy living. And herbal teas. So the green teas I consume more of in the winter months, but if you want to consume them in the summer months, letting them brew and then cooling down to room temperature or putting them in the refrigerator is great, but you don't want to oversaturate them with sugar. It's an acquired taste. Sometimes using honey is better than using sugar, but honey is high on the glycemic index and what you don't want to do is say, oh, well, I eliminated refined sugar, now I only eat raw sugar and honey. Well, you could still have an issue with your condition if you're diabetic, type 2 diabetic. So those are just some of the foods that I would recommend trying out. And I didn't mention it earlier, but this was a major component, which is my own personal blood pressure cuff I've had for about, I would say, 10 years now. And I use this to keep daily track of where my blood pressure is. And that's how I discovered what impacts my blood pressure. I would recommend buying your own blood pressure cuff. If you want to use a larger one, that's fine. This one's great for me because I move around a lot. And what you would want to do, at least on one occasion, is measure your blood pressure before you go to the doctor, measure it while you're at the doctor, measure again while you're at the doctor using the doctor's device so you can see what the comparison is between your device and the doctor's device, and then measure after you leave the doctor's office. And it is important to sit for 5 minutes to allow your body to adjust to a resting level. Getting up, walking into the doctor's office in and of itself can increase your blood pressure. And that's not a bad thing. But if you're at a consistent elevated blood pressure, not necessarily a bad thing. If you're at a consistent elevated blood pressure after you get into the office and have been sitting for a few minutes, then there may be a real concern there. That's really key because it took me a while to trust the device. Comparing it to the doctor's device so that they can see what I see, how I feel, was important for me. And confirming for yourself is really what matters most. Getting the doctor's confirmation is good, but confirming for yourself is the ultimate thing that you want to do. So I have a few other things here I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to close. If you're mobile and in okay shape and you're ready to start working out, this is a resistance band. You can use a resistance band to actually work out in place at home, standing, sitting, etc. You can also use this lacrosse ball to be a massage tool. I usually use it for massaging the bottom of my feet, applying pressure to the ground and rolling over my feet, curling the toes, trying to make sure that I am massaging the foot. And you can also use it on your back, use it on your leg. If you use it on your back, you want to put your back against the wall and go up and down. For those of us who are ready to get a jump rope, buying a jump rope is a great tool to have because you can do it almost anywhere. If you're traveling, you can take it with you. All you got to do is go outside If you're in a large facility, you can do it indoors. If you're at work, you can do it outside in the parking lot or in a controlled environment at work. 10 minutes of jumping rope is almost or is equivalent to running for about 30 minutes. It's great cardio workout. You need to increase your heart rate so that as we age, the heart has that capacity to pump at a higher rate. If you want to be able to play with your grandkids or do half the workout that you do now, you need to consistently continue the workout that you're doing now. If you want to be able to do more, then you have to do double now what you think you're going to want to do in 20 years. Let's say for the average 40-year-old. For someone who's younger than that, who's 20, and they're in relatively good health, they have good control over their blood pressure and their cholesterol and their A1C, then they have a lot more room for expansion to grow so that they can have much more capacity when they reach their 60s. Okay, I think I've covered everything that I want to cover there. In close, the big point that I hope you take away is that food is having a devastating impact on our lives and is increasing our mortality. I lost 2 loved ones to cancer, ages 50 and 56. I have 2 other loved ones that are in their 30s, under 35, that one has a severe diabetic condition that is very serious. I would say both conditions are serious. One is extremely serious. And sometimes we don't know that we have been taught the wrong things, or we are being misled and have been sold on an idea that isn't true or doesn't work for us. And essentially what that could mean is that you've been fooled into thinking that consuming what you want because you're getting a dopamine fix and you feel good is okay. And it's okay, but not okay for longevity and life. The dark side of this for me is having to watch and accept the decisions. And I'm okay with accepting them, especially if all parties are aware of what's potentially at risk. It's more difficult for me to watch when people just don't even know. They're oblivious to the fact that they're micro-poisoning themselves. And I just want to, help and share. And hope that some of what I've discussed here is shared and can be implemented as best as possible. And it leads to us having increased lifespans or increased quality of life. So the first take, I know I was adding much more content and I can't recall everything that I said, but this essentially sums it up. We have to take action because the companies and the government have made some major oversights, whether that has been purposeful or not. The impact and the results is showing up in our mortality rates every day, every year. So just want to send some peace and love and hope everyone is doing well. If you have any comments or want to share what you're doing to make sure that you're having an increased quality of life, please leave a comment and let me know. Would love to hear what you have going on and maybe how I can help improve my own diet. So the last thing is I've worked myself up to being able to fast and I'm in the 4th day of a diet, or I should say a fast. I fasted water only or herbal tea for the past 80 hours. And I'm going to break the fast with the avocado mixed with some other vegetables such as red onion, cucumber, tomato, beet. Not sure if I have carrot, but that's another thing that I add, along with sea salt, turmeric, and black pepper. And the reason that I had to go on the fast is because I had had too much sugar and starch in a short period of time, and my body responded with stiffness and some aches to consuming those foods. What did I eat? I had ice cream, I had a huge oatmeal cookie, I had a Dr. Pepper. That was it. Now, the portion sizes were probably greater than one, for sure. I had maybe like a 20-ounce Dr. Pepper. That's at least 2, maybe 2.5 portion sizes. The cookie that I had was probably 4 inches in diameter. Huge. Not to say sugar and flour. Not just the sugar, but the flour as well. And then the ice cream, definitely sugar. So now I am getting back to normal. I can feel that I have an increased range of mobility, increased range and flexibility, and my vision, the quality of my vision increases. I've gotten to the point now where I don't get too dizzy after being on fast for so long. If I do something really fast, or if I'm out working out, I still do work out while fasting. So if I'm doing something at a speed or a rate that's too fast, I do have some effects, but for the most part, I can live my normal life while fasting for at least 48 hours, now up to 72 hours, and at this moment into 84 hours. So in a few hours, I'll break the fast with avocado, other vegetables, watermelon, and coconut water. It's been a delight to make this video, and I hope it helps someone. Please do comment, share, and send a lot of peace and love.